Top of the morning to you. Greg J. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. is on. Yep, this is where we have casual but compelling coffee conversations about a wide variety of topics from a decidedly global Black perspective. A lot's been said around these days about hip hop, 50 years of hip hop. And as you've seen in our past episodes, I like to share that, we were young executives when hip hop first came about. We watched it, had floor seats, front row to the hip hop music, the culture, the emergence of hip hop. And so across our platforms, you'll see the series called The Making of Hip Hop. And we've had lots of guests come through that were there, that were working in important positions in the industry of hip hop as this genre exploded upon the scene. And, we've had Violet Brown from Warehouse Records. We had Greg Mack from K-Day, Lonzo Williams, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. He's been out here a couple of times, sharing and giving us the inside scoop on how hip hop developed. And we got a lot more coming for you. Today we've been really meditating on the essence of journalism. What folks probably don't know, that with the music and the culture exploding on the scene also came a plethora of publications. We were blessed to be a part of the one of the first nationally syndicated hip hop radio shows at Bailey Broadcasting, what is also known as Radioscope. We talked Mr. Lee Bailey into coming up with a show on this new genre called rap music. And through that exercise, met this brother that is our guest on today, who began to write for that Hip Hop Countdown show, went on to be a publisher, RapSheet, first newspaper, man. They had a newspaper, the rappers did, really, really cool stuff. So without further ado, we're going to talk to Brother Darryl James. Good morning, sir.
Hi, Brother Justin. How are you, man? How are you?
Man, I'm doing all right. History maker.
That's me, man. I've done that a couple of times.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank you for having me on your show, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Darryl, just give the folks a snapshot of what you do, because shoot, I know you've written a few books, and back in the day when we was young, well, we're still young, but when we were younger, we were on the leading edge of a genre that is worldwide now. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I was still in college when I started my first publication. And it was called Rappin', Rappin. That was 1988, the same year The Source started. And I was also writing for The Source. And then the next year or later that year is when I joined Lee Bailey on the Hip Hop Countdown and started writing that hip hop radio show. I was also doing publicity for a few clients. One of the biggest ones was In Vogue when they were first starting. And so I did my thing for a while. The Rappin' magazine folded, and I started looking to do another one. There was a guy, Jeffrey Stern. He owned Details magazine. He had just sold it. So we partnered up and we started a magazine called RapSheet, and we decided to put it on newsprint like the original Rolling Stone. So that's why it was the world's first hip hop newspaper. And in 1997, I bought him out and became the first Black publisher. RapSheet was the first Black-owned, 100% Black-owned rap music magazine. So since then, I folded it like in 2002. Since then, I've done 3 other magazines. I have a publishing company for people who want to self-publish their own book. I did a stage play for 5 years, and then I did a film, which is now on Amazon Prime, Love in a Day. I've got 4 books, and then I just did a new book, the RapSheet Magazine Legacy Collection Volume 1, which is covers and cover story layouts and rare photos from my time doing RapSheet. And I'm also working on a documentary on the golden age of hip hop, rap music in the 1990s. So, in a nutshell, that's it. I'll leave out.
Wow, incredible stuff. I'm hearing you. I actually didn't know that you were part of the source. I remember
Yeah,
kind of discovering the source. The Dave Mays and them were university, and it was a kind of a newsletter.
yeah,
They used to send
yeah.
it to me at Bailey Broadcasting. And
Hmm.
watching that really blow up. Now I'm gonna share with you. Y'all did that. RapSheet did that. You guys did a conference, and we had the
Yes.
Sprite rhyme for rhyme MC battle up at the Palladium. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
So I syndicated that to about 21 radio stations. I found this hippie dude out of Burbank, had a mobile recording truck, and we pulled up in the back of the Palladium, took your feed, put it on 30-minute delay just in case there was any cussing that may occur, and then sent the signal down to Globecast up to the satellite. It was very experimental. We had never done anything like that, but we were working together with Sprite to make that thing happen. And man,
Nice.
that's history right there, sir.
Yeah, man, if
Yeah,
you have any kind of copy of it or, air check,
I can't find
whatever.
it. I can't find it,
Yeah,
Daryl.
yeah, brother, a
There's
lot of stuff is
two.
gone, man. 30
Yeah,
years.
there's two tapes that for the life of me I cannot find, and that is that rhyme for rhyme MC battle. And I had that tape for a long time. I just don't know what happened. Um,
Yeah.
and then the Roots, when the Roots were brand new, and there used to be a record store on Highland in Hollywood called Aaron's, and they did a showcase in there, and we recorded it. And
Okay.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
stuff happens. Time goes by.
Time goes by, brother. We
Yeah,
didn't know. We were just doing our thing.
doing our thing. You hear 50 years of hip hop. What are your senses now? I mean, we've had a few people that were there, like ourselves, and they've come and did you think we would come this far in hip hop?
Well, I certainly did, man. It always bothered me in the 90s. In the 80s, not so much, but in the 90s, it bothered me when people kept saying, oh, it won't be around very long. And I'm like, well, the first commercial hit was 1979. So 12, 13 years later, why are you saying it's not going to be around? Like, is there something wrong with your brain? I mean, it changes, evolves, but no other art form went through that except for hip hop. And I always thought it was strange. I thought that the music industry's approach was really ignorant. It was a lot of people dealing with, which is why we lost control of music, because a lot of people who were, trying to shut down file sharing were just ignorant, man. And, it's just, yeah, it's amazing. So, no, I'm not surprised that there was a hip hop 50. I'm surprised at what we have currently that's called hip hop. I'm also surprised that people got involved to do like, I guess 2 or 3 celebrations. Really didn't do a lot. That was surprising. That was surprising.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. What's your favorite? Like, I know there's many because I got a video. I know you probably have 10 times as many as I do, but what's your favorite hip hop moment when you sit back right now?
Mm.
Now, we old men sitting on the porch now. We say, I remember that
Get
time
off
when.
my lawn. um, I guess it was the first Rap Sheet conference and this is when I knew Rap Sheet was going to be a success. We did our conference. We're at the Roosevelt Hotel. It's me and Chuck D and MTV. Like, we had, LA Times, New York Times. We had some really good press, CNN, but MTV was there and did a live broadcast of my keynote speech.
Wow.
I was like, man, this is dope. This is dope, because as a hip hop activist, I did some things for the art form that a lot of people either don't know, don't remember, or don't understand.
Mhm.
That was huge because in 94, nobody was really speaking for the art form the way I was. And I don't know if you even know, because very few people know, I testified before the Senate. I'm in the congressional record. Um,
Wow.
yeah, they did the Senate hearings against hip hop, and I was the only one there. And I basically went in there and whooped everybody's butt. And the funny part about it is that the senator, Carol Mosley Braun, is my cousin. And
Ah.
yeah, and we didn't know each other. I mean, I know who
Mhm.
she was, but I had never interacted with her like that. And so she was like shocked and amazed, and that was a beautiful moment too. I sat there and testified. I sat between C. Dolores Tucker and Dionne Warwick.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was in there whooping butt, man. I
Yeah.
was whooping
Yeah.
ass
Yeah.
and taking names. So
We
those
got.
were really amazing moments for me.
We ought to take this moment just to remind people that back in those days, I mean, there was a heavy movement against hip hop music. And
Yeah,
I mean, the mainstream was just like not having it. I mean, remember, he just passed away like last year. Reverend Calvin Butts took the CDs
mm-hmm.
and put the steamroller.
The steamroller to him. I was like, what a clown.
Wow, wow. That's
Yeah,
something. It's so interesting. Nowadays, though, you hear, um, I want to make 2 points on that. Okay, you had such vitriol against the music when Snoop Dogg came out that, oh my God, they were so against his music, his cover art, and the whole thing. I remember that it was like he was the devil himself. And
right.
now here he is, one of the most beloved American pop culture icons in America.
Transformation,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah, yeah. How does that
Yeah.
happen?
Well, I mean, it happened like with any other art form. You have the music, rock started counterculture.
Mhm.
And by the time it became a part of, the mainstream culture, then the icons were allowed to no longer be counterculture and become part of the culture. Hip hop is no different. I mean, the
Mhm.
music went mainstream commercial, late 80s, early 90s. And so now it's so deeply entrenched in,
Mhm.
American culture that, yeah, it's not surprising to see Snoop Dogg really, really get out there. I mean, Ice Cube is making movies, like successful movies. Dr. Dre is a billionaire, right? So it's a really, really, it's a good feeling. And it's a good feeling to see it with someone like Snoop. Snoop has represented the art form very, very well. Um, he's represented himself very well. His transformation, it wasn't just happenstance. He really did a lot of work. To protect his name, to protect and build his brand, so that now when it was time for him to get out there and go to the next level, it's pretty powerful, pretty powerful. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm happy. I'm not surprised at all. I wish that since mainstays of the culture like Snoop are breaking through and just out there, I wish some of the art, the music itself, would kind of return to those days or go into something else that's kind of good and beautiful. I mean, there's some really cool stuff out there underground, but a lot
Mhm.
of this stuff that we're hearing is some hot garbage, man. Hot
I feel
garbage.
that that's really, intentional because I remember us going to all of the showcases and observing, and then, all of a sudden you start seeing, kind of the others, coming around and, I mean, they're signing deals and everything, but I feel like this is just my opinion is that they took the lowest common denominator in hip hop music and put that up and took the more artful, if you will, music and kind of squash that down, and even especially the music with the message that would uplift our people. I felt like that they put that one to the back seat, and then it all became about gang banging. And now fast forward to today, the young brother goes by with his boombox. I'm hearing straight pornography, and so
Yeah, I mean it's porn and it's drugs and it's weird. But the thing that's good though, I have a 16-year-old son, Darryl Jr., and the thing that's good is that they're still an underground. So, there's some music that's, a lot better than what is popular, and it's kind of bubbling up, and some of it is nice. And so I get to see some of that riding around with my son and allowing him to control the music in the car, because he has, I mean, this is a kid, he grew up on Coltrane and Bob Marley and Prince and Stevie Wonder, you know what I mean, and Jimi Hendrix. So his musical sensibilities are out of this world. So he's not just, he doesn't like, a lot of the mumble rap and goofy stuff. He likes stuff that's more substantive. I knew that I had done my job as far as exposing him to good music when we got in the car one day and he just sat down and started playing Check the Rhyme by Tribe Called Quest.
Nice.
I was like, ooh.
Wow.
So I was like, good job, Dad.
That's right. That's right. I have the same experience. I raised my twin grandsons, and they jump in the car and they're playing Stevie Wonder and Earth, Wind and Fire and singing. I'm like, what do you know about that music? Oh no, this is what I listen to. This is really good stuff.
Yeah. So hopefully, the kids, people say really goofy stuff about kids, and I think it's because they're just goofy themselves. But I think that if good music was being made, was being promoted, I think it would work.
Right.
Right. I think it would work. And to be honest, I'll tell you, I haven't really talked about this. I've just been thinking about it and talking to a few people to make it happen. I'm thinking about actually bringing a music experience back to the people surrounding RapSheet. There's a unique way to do it without trying to recreate what doesn't work anymore. And to really go out and discover new music, promote new music, and push it out there. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's my next level.
That's a fantastic idea right there. I want to talk to you offline a little bit about, making an art exhibit in this area, because as you may know, I'm really deep into arts and culture, and I've actually done quite a few art exhibitions. And I think it's time now to actually present. Like as an example, I'm really glad to see the immersive hip hop exhibit that's up there in Hollywood now that just opened. I went up there to that. It was pretty cool, But I do think that people like us and those of us who were there and everything, we need to take our artifacts, and put them in a really high quality art exhibition. And I think that this will help educate the people, inform the people, inspire the people, and of course entertain the people, and bring back those memories.
Absolutely. So that's what my book is about. It's actually an art book.
Nice.
And so what I've done is I've preserved my legacy. I'm going to show the cover.
Nice.
I preserved my legacy as an art book, because much of what RapSheet produced, including its covers, it was artistic. It was cutting edge. People tried to duplicate it, but we kept changing. So you can't follow something that keeps going in different directions. And so I'm producing a lot. I wore my Tupac t-shirt.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I'm I've been doing, book signings, and I'm actually looking at like an art gallery and at blowing up my covers to 3x5 or whatever, and displaying them, because it truly is art. The covers were artistically designed, but with these artists on it, it's real art. It's real art. So I'd love to work with you. Huh?
That's a fascinating.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes, I'd love to work with you to create an art delivery program where we present RapSheet as art because it was.
You got a deal. Let's get it.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
let's
Yes,
get it.
sir.
Hold on
Let's
a minute.
do
Let me see. You were showing off your magazine there. Let me see. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's not it. It's nearby here, but I've been rocking my Def Jam Letterman's jacket. You remember when they passed those out?
it.
That Chuck D and
Yeah.
Chuck D
Yes.
and the late Wes Johnson of Def Jam presented me with my jacket. And remember back in the day, if they gave you a jacket with your name embroidered in it, you was doing something. So they came and my name was in it and everything. And I hadn't worn it in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's a little, what is that? That's 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but I've
Yeah.
been rocking it to all the events. Yeah.
That's right.
It's,
That's right. Well,
uh,
see, I wasn't as fly as you. They didn't give me a Letterman's jacket. I got a windbreaker. And it was still
you know, I,
cool. It was still
I got
cool.
a Tommy Boy windbreaker, and I was just thinking about I
Okay.
wear it all the time, and I actually kind of take it for granted because I've been wearing it for years. It's just my little go-to. And I had gone to a doctor's appointment the other day, and when I was checking in, the lady says, because it has a date 1981. She said, "I would love that jacket even more if it said 1980." And I was like, "Wow," and I was reflecting on how old that jacket
Yeah.
was. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Interesting
That's
stuff.
crazy.
All right, so now I know you saw the Super Bowl halftime. That was a tribute to hip hop with Dr. Dre and all of them. What a monumental, you know, episode in pop culture. And what were your
Yeah.
thoughts when you saw that?
I mean, I didn't see the whole thing because one, I still don't watch the NFL after the whole
Oh,
Kaepernick debacle.
wait, you coming to
But
the Chargers? He right. Come on, we got to get
whatever,
you back in the fold. We won that one.
what whatever. And I think it's funny now that they're talking about playing the Black national anthem
Yes.
at the Super Bowl. I'm like, so you bastards punished Kaepernick, and then you're gonna turn around and do this, whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, I
Yep.
mean, but my thoughts on, I thought it was cool, man. I mean, Dre is out there doing his thing. He's out there, really, really making it happen. I mean, and he's at the top of the game, and so it made sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's funny. Hip hop as a statement maker. I mean, really powerful messages. I still, to this day, when people ask me who is my favorite rapper, it's still Ice Cube. In the '90s, when he was coming with his America's Most Wanted and all those, it was a time in LA, right? And I was feeling it, 100%. And I just feel like nowadays, who can we name that is making, I guess Kendrick Lamar, but who would you call out to say, okay, they're making a statement in these days and time?
I mean, really not even Kendrick Lamar because I mean he's kind of making statements, but not really. Uh, there are no statements.
Mhm.
There are none. And if we look at hip hop as a microcosm of the big piece, the big picture,
Sure.
this country doesn't have any statements. I
Uh,
mean, we had a president that was a certified imbecile and followed up by a president who is half dead and doesn't even know he's there. He probably wakes up every morning like Frosty the Snowman. He taps Jill and goes,
this morning,
"Happy
man.
birthday!"
I was watching this morning. I was like, oh Lord.
He's gone, man. He's
Yeah,
gone. I mean, so
yeah,
this country is really a joke,
sure.
and it's just, I mean, and people are trying to force you to believe one thing or the other instead of just leaving you the hell alone.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how we made our way through COVID being such a stupid country. I mean, this country is
Sure.
really is a moronic
Yeah.
place and space. How do we after being around, and when I say we, that's the king, the imperial we, the country. How did we, after being around for over 200 years, coming up on 3, we still don't have a real political forum to deal with real issues, man? We just don't. And so hip hop tried to give that to the country from a Black perspective, and right now there's nothing. There are no real issues that we can combat and go against, because most people don't know what the hell is going on. People are just dumb. Like, stupidity is the state of this nation. And when you start talking to people outside the country, they're flabbergasted that Trump made it, that Biden made it. I'm just like, wow. So,
It's so funny you say that, because I was in South Africa as a guest of Dr. Dumisama Goba. Shout out to you, Dr. Goba. We're coming back. He does a music awards show there that's akin to the Grammys, but it salutes the indigenous music, the traditional music of the day. It's nationally televised and everything. So I met him, and he flew me out there, and I started, I was actually in a delegation with President Obama's grandmother, out there. And so we were sitting at his house, and, we're eating and we're chopping it up and everything. And he asked the question. He goes, and I'm just gonna say it how he said it. He's like, "Do you think they're gonna elect Trump as your president?" He says, "Cause that nigga." I just started cracking up, and I was just, I was cracking up hearing it coming from him as an African, watching our nation. And then I straight told him, I said, "Man, that'll never happen."
Well, it's funny, because I knew it would happen, because I understand this dirty ass country. So I knew it would. And because I said it, people were trying to call me a sellout. And I was like, you're crazy. You're ignorant, because if you understood how the country worked, first of all, you wouldn't be mad at me for just saying what I think is going to happen. But if you understood the country, you wouldn't be surprised. Like, and I'm going to say this, and I know people won't understand it, so I'll give a lightweight explanation.
Okay.
Trump was elected for the same reason Obama was. Sounds crazy as hell, doesn't it? Obama was elected because the people wanted a change. They wanted something different. They didn't want anyone from the establishment. They wanted somebody new to come with new ideas and new blood, and that's why Obama got elected. Same thing with Trump. We have a portion of our country that we had pushed into the underground. We didn't talk about them. These two-teeth cousin rapers who had, chased Black people down. They flew the American flag and the Confederate flag. But after the 60s, it just wasn't cool for them to be out in public anymore. So they raped their cousins in private and, did what they did in private. But when Trump popped up, they all came back. And I knew it. Yeah. And Trump tried to build a coalition. Here's what people don't like for me to say. They don't like for anybody to say it. Trump tried to build a coalition. He knew he had all the dirty, ignorant, redneck peckerwoods to support him, but he tried to come at us. He was just too stupid to know how to do it. And we're so politically emotional, and we're political children. We didn't understand. Because we hated him. We hated Republicans, and Black people were taught with this dog whistle, Republican, and we didn't understand that he was reaching out. Remember, he did that interview with that reporter, and she asked him about the Congressional Black Caucus. And he said, "I'd love to meet them. Do you know them?" And so people were like, "What? Do you know them? He don't know who they are." Why would he know? They're trash. They're shit. Why would he know? But what he was doing was saying, "I'll meet with them. Maybe we can work something out."
Sure.
That's what he was saying. But he was too stupid to really process that. And because we're so the Democratic Party, we still think that they own us. we wouldn't even talk to him. We punished. I know I'm, going off the rails a little bit with politics, but I don't know if I can forgive Black people and the Democratic Party for beating the hell out of Chrisette Michele. I really felt, I hated the Democrats. I hated. I was filled with hatred because I'm like, this woman is doing a job. She's a singer. She went to sing. Nobody has the right to tell her we don't like him, so stop doing it. Mm-hmm. That was so. But then we allowed crazy Kanye to go and basically provide fellatio to Trump. Yeah. We allowed big bonehead Steve Harvey. Yeah. They weren't destroyed, but Black people destroyed Chrisette Michele. That hurt my heart, and I haven't gotten over it. I can't forgive the Democrats for that. That was ugly. But it's because we're children as far as politics are concerned. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this junkyard dog loyalty to the Democratic Party. Biden told us, you ain't Black, didn't give us shit, got elected and told us, hey, the Hispanics are about to be the majority. You're going to have to negotiate with them. He was like, you're going to have a new owner. Kamala told us when she was running for president, she's like, I'm not going to do anything specifically for Black people. I mean, we got these strong messages. We're like, yeah, okay, I'm still going to vote blue no matter who. And we still get nothing. Right now, and I'm gonna wrap this up because otherwise I'll be talking about politics for the next 2 hours.
Well, look, we have to come back on these. I'm enthralled.
Yeah, but the last piece is that I think the Democrats really showed their ass to Black people. And I'm from Chicago, so I'm watching my people. They're turning on the Democratic Party and they're letting them know you can go to hell. We won't vote for you. Because how do you take people who aren't a part of the tax base, who can't vote, who come in, work under the table, send money back to Mexico, and you give them, I'm sure if people don't know, these illegal aliens, I'm not going to call them migrants, they broke into the country illegally. They're in Chicago, New York, and whatever the other sanctuary cities are. They're getting $3,000 a month. They're getting $1,500 in food stamps, and they're getting up to 9 months of free housing in buildings that Black people can't go into that are in Black communities. One of them is my South Shore, my high school in Chicago. They're stepping over veterans. They're stepping over hungry children. How can we forgive that? How can we continue to say we'd rather vote for them than Boogaloo? Anybody. I'd vote for a potato. The Democrats can kiss my ass, man. And so anyway, so to bring it back, there is no message. Our country is really messed up right now. There are no messages. Nobody has any real leadership. Black people don't have any leadership. Who's our leader? That bitch Umar Johnson? I hate that mother. He hates Black people. He doesn't even understand. He hates Black men. He's pandering to Black women by throwing Black men under the bus. Meanwhile, he has 2 kids he doesn't take care of. He's claiming the 2 women he's dating, he's going to marry both of them. I'm like, there's no leadership in the country. There's no leadership in our community. Therefore, there aren't any real messages for anybody who's making music to deliver. Because they don't really understand. The media is dead, man. The media is dead. So we don't have any Black media like we had back in the day where we could get consistent and real messages on TV, on radio, magazines, and newspapers. That's gone. Who do we have left? Roland Martin?
Yeah, well, that's his advocacy, though. Exactly what you just said.
I mean, it is, but that's it. That's all we got. Yeah, that's all we got. There's nothing else.
We tried over here. Look, over here at Hannibal Media Group, we tried. Maybe having you out here might elevate our game.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, there are people who are trying to move in there, but there aren't the powerhouses that used to exist. They're just not there anymore. I mean, so we would have to, Greg, come in and take over. I mean, there's a concept I have to do a political piece online, like the Huffington Post. I mean, so,
Yes.
There are ways to do it, and we're doing it. But right now, it's not there, man. Nobody really stepped in on the internet to step out on social media and really start delivering real messages, because Facebook is a piece of shit. And if you say the wrong thing, they block you, ban you, and throw you away.
Yeah.
So there's no
Absolutely.
free speech there. There's no free
Yeah.
speech in the social media world. So we're in bad shape. We're not talking. When we do get a podcast, there are some, like yourself, who are trying to deal with real issues and deliver real information. But most of what we have, the podcast, are some feminine dudes trying to give relationship advice to some stupid ass women. I mean, they are. I look at these dudes and I'm like, man, I know you didn't have a daddy. Your mother, these mothers raised these dudes to be strong Black women. Right. And the women are following them. The women are saying really crazy. My favorite crazy shit to hate right now. You disagree with Black women in a thread, and they're like, "Oh, Black men are killing Black women. Oh, 1 every 3 hours. You guys are killing machines." I'm like, may I have the statistics, please? Stats, please. Oh, you don't have any? Oh, okay. They just say anything. And what people don't understand, and again, I'm going off the rails, I'm going to bring it back. What people don't understand is Black women soaking up propaganda about Black men is putting them in a dangerous position, because you're forcing the men away from you. You say, "Oh, we're unprotected," but you are unprotecting yourself, because you're forcing men to leave you alone. Most of the children are by like 30% of Black manhood, and it's really not the best of Black manhood. So they're out there having children with these dudes who aren't going to protect them, aren't going to protect the child, and then they hate the men who want to tell them the truth. So it's just, as a people, man, we are in such dire straits that there is no concentrated message for these rappers to put out there.
Darryl, you're touching on so many things I wanted to, when I was, reached out to you. I was like, okay, we got a whole plethora of stuff that we could talk about, and I definitely want to have you back to have that very conversation about, Black female male relationships. That's for sure, because I follow you, and I mean, you have a lot to say, and let's go there, let's go there. So I decided today, I was like, well, let's start with the hip hop, history, journalism and everything, but I really appreciate your views, and it makes you think, you know what I'm saying? And that's what we want to do here on Coffee Conversations with Greg J. I appreciate you so much for that. But let me just ask you too, just bringing it back into the whole hip hop journalism piece, we had, how many major hip hop publications were there? You had RapSheet, Rap Pages, that was Larry Flint over there, the hustler, man. Vibe, Source.
Well, I guess you can include
Vibe more culture.
I mean, you can't call it a hip hop magazine when the first cover was Madonna.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Right. True.
Just saying. But yeah, Source, RapSheet, Rap Pages. Then you had some kind of B-level publications like Murder Dog, which was a damn shame, and 4080. And then a bunch of smaller ones around the country.
There was one, what was the one out of the Bay Area? 420, 4020?
No, that was 4080.
4080, that's right. Okay, yeah. Okay,
that was 4080. Yeah.
I used to like that magazine. That was a good one. What was the guy's name?
Lachlan.
Yes, that's all right. That's right.
Yeah, no, so I wasn't dissing the magazine when I said B-level, but see, here's the thing, everybody wanted to, and I know it's going to sound arrogant, but I don't care. All these Black people wanted to be me without doing what it took to become me. And so people would say that they, like Rap Pages was trying to call itself, a major magazine. I don't know if people knew, Rap Pages was never a monthly magazine. It was bi-monthly, so 6 times a year. And sometimes it only got 5. Their distribution at its height was about 38,000. I'm gonna tell you why I know in a minute. It's gonna blow your mind. It was about 38,000. RapSheet was 100,000. We were 100,000. So we were clearly number 2, but people made some assumptions because these other magazines were glossy. So let me tell you why I know so much about Rap Pages. In 93, I think it was, they lost their editor. I met with Larry Flint. I ran Rap Pages for almost a year under an assumed name, Willie Wise, which is my stepfather's name, and I called myself Willie the Wise One. So I got to really understand, the move, and I ended up handing it off. I brought Sheena Lester in,
Nice.
But yeah, so I understood more than just the editing portion, because they were trying to bring me in. They wanted me to drop RapSheet and come into which I couldn't do, because I'm like, man, I own this thing. I have one partner. You guys just want to offer me a salary. I'm not doing that. So as far as hip hop journalism, I embraced pretty much everybody. I did a roundup one time where I did 2-page spread promoting all the small hip hop publications around the country. I was all for it. I thought it was cool. I didn't look at people as just competition. I was like, man, let's get out here and report on hip hop and push it out there.
I want to ask you, you spurring a thought, because it's been over the years really, really bugging me. But when I would go to Chicago on my advertising runs for Bailey Broadcasting, I met a young man that was doing a newspaper in Chicago. I went to a couple of their events. I see his face. I can't remember his name now, and I cannot remember the name of the newspaper. Are you familiar?
Yeah. So when he first did it, I can't remember his name, but a brother of mine, my friend Scoop Jackson, wrote for him. When he first started he started it as a newspaper called RapSheet. And I went to, I was doing a publication called the Black Entertainment Guide. So I was going to all the Black expos. So I'm in Chicago, and he comes up to me and he's like, yeah, I just want you to check out my new newspaper, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, there's a bigger publication out of California called RapSheet. He's like, oh, no, those are 2 white boys and they don't know. And I put my hand out. I said, yeah, I'm one of the white boys. He was like, huh? I said, yeah, and this is called copyright infringement, brother. I was like, you can't do. So he changed the name, I think, to Flypaper.
Flypaper, that's it. That is, yes, okay, thank you. That is, because he comes to my memory often, and I'm like, what was the name of that newspaper? Okay, Flypaper.
Yeah, nice guy, but woefully uninformed, because he's sitting there talking to one of the founders and talking about, oh yeah, it's a couple of white boys, and I'm like, yeah, dude, you can't compete, we'll crush you, but by the way, I'm one of the white boys.
Hilarious.
That was funny.
That's something. Wow. Listen, Darryl, we have such a history together, and I'm glad we're able to come together on today as we kind of wind this down. I'd like to just ask you, what is the future, I guess, of hip hop now that we're so commercialized and it's so mainstream? What is the blessed hope for the future as one of the the arteries of the genre?
I like that.
What's the blessed hope?
The hope, and I like to think that I'm going to be a part of it, is to just go right back to the underground where people are creating and being creative without being married to anything specific, to any specific topic. There's a couple of people now who are so goofy. They're talking about, in the 90s, they killed all the message rap. Everything was gangster, right from the beginning. I'm like, no, I guess you weren't listening, because even on the radio, we had such a broad variety. You know, we had people who were delivering messages. We had people who were just having a party and having fun. We had people who were abstract, and we had gangster rappers. And so we had everything. And I think that can occur again now that we have adjusted properly. It's been almost 20 years since the music industry died and came back as something weird. So now we can come back. We can actually start to do A&R again, start to pay attention to what's happening in the underground, to process that and bring that forward so it can exist with whatever's existing now. We don't have to kill this. We don't have to kill mumble rap. We don't have to kill these guys talking about Molly's and Percocets. We don't have to kill that. We can just bring something else to go coexist with it, because that's what hip hop's always been.
Right.
That's what it's always been. And it can be that again. So that the blessed hope is for someone, somebody, some people, some group, some organizations to actually go to the roots and bring the roots back to the forefront, and then it can be hip hop again. Because whatever this is now, it's not hip hop. It's just
not hip hop.
Nah, it's not. It's not hip hop.
An abomination.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, because this is what they know. This is what they understand, and that's all they have. And I think that if something else were to coexist and take its place alongside of it, then I think, I think it can, you know, it can become what it once was in a different form.
All right. Darryl James, publisher, author, just all around good brother.
Thank you, my man.
Trash talker.
That should have been number one.
You know what I'm saying? Look, to win championships, you got to have at least one.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. I love talking shit.
Tell the people, like, how can we get a hold of you, man, and find out about all your books and projects and everything like that?
So the biggest thing I'm doing right now is the RapSheet magazine legacy collection. I've redone RapSheet.com. If people don't know, RapSheet.com was the first hip hop magazine on the web in 1994, and it's still there. So you can go to RapSheet.com. There's a form you can fill out, a contact form, or you can just email me directly, Darryl, DARRYL @rapsheet.com. That's the easiest way. We are Original RapSheet on Instagram, RapSheet Original on Facebook, and we're doing TikTok because we're about to really make our presence felt. So yeah, Darryl at rapsheet.com is the best way to do it.
All right, y'all, you got it. We're gonna put that all in the chat for you, and then, you know, just check it out. Darryl James, thank you, my brother, for coming through and sipping coffee with us. And we got to have you back because we got things to talk about.
Brother, all you got to do is let me know, Greg. We tight like that. You let me know, and I will show up and talk some shit, you know. And the beautiful thing about me talking shit is that facts are all woven in.
Nice.
You know, yeah, I'm a researcher, so you know my shit talking, my trash talking is very well thought out, very well researched. I'm a journalism major, so I was taught, you know, critical thinking, how to research. So you know, yeah. So whatever topic you choose, man, I'm ready.
All right, I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, Darryl James. Listen, Coffee Conversations is available on our Facebook page, Coffee Conversations with Greg J, on our website, Beach City Radio, beachcityradio.com. Over there, YouTube, please like and subscribe. We're trying to upgrade our YouTube game. Where else are we? Just wherever. The audio portion will be repurposed, put out there as a podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcasts, you know, iHeart, Apple, what else? Google, Spreaker. Just put it in there. You'll find it. Spotify is everywhere. Coffee Conversations with Greg J. Thank you all so much for listening. And always remember, love one another. Love one another. Love one another. Peace and blessings.